Now let's go through a live example of chat completion in the OpenAI API. And I already set up the OpenAI API key in my environment variables. So if you haven't done this already, make sure you go back to the section on translation and you can run through that example in order to set up your API key in the environment variables. So now that we have this already set up, let's go ahead and open up the sample chat that we have provided in the downloadable section in this lesson. And let's open up the file in Sublime Text, which is my text editor. And here we have something slightly different than the previous examples. This is using few-shot encoding where we're building a context and now the AI is going to answer questions based on the existing context. Important parts of this is that on the top, we have our API key importing from the environment variables, and then we have base messages, which is our base system messages that sets up the AI, as well as the user message, which is our initial prompt. So in this case, if we wanted to change the way our chatbot acts, we can change the initial prompt, maybe from something like helpful assistant built to provide guidance to maybe something like unhelpful assistant provides no guidance. And then another message, you're trained on white collar jobs, we can change to blue collar jobs. But this is an initial setup that sets our chatbot onto an initial trajectory. And then that chatbot will continue on that trajectory based on those messages with the subsequent user messages. So initial prompt is I need to make an appointment with Bob Saget tomorrow at 3 p.m. We can change this as the initial prompt to something else later on. And then I have a while true loop that basically iterates continuously, and it takes the current base messages plus responses and then gets another response from the chatbot, adds it to the responsive, and then prompts the user for another response. So this continuous loop is basically building up the chat context, and over time, we'll be able to print out a full chat conversation based on the previous contexts of this chat. So let's go ahead and try running this. And I'm going to run it one time with the initial prompt and then change the initial prompt to something else that might make it kind of different. And just to show you how the context change the entire operation of the chatbot. So let's go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to run Python 3 chat completion. So now we are loading up the context into the API. We're going to query the API, and then it's going to print out a response. So sure, I can help you make an appointment. However, I'm an AI assistant and do not have direct access to Bob Saget's schedule. So it takes up all the context that we already previously talked about, and now it adds it to the existing context. So I'm going to say something else like, that's fine. I need an appointment for next Wednesday at 3 p.m. about a movie script. So now we're going to enter it, and then we're going to add this into the context. And now the chatbot's going to query again and return a new response based on the previous context. And now we're adding that we need an appointment for next Wednesday about a movie script. And now it actually responds with more information and actually takes our context into account, which it says next Wednesday at 3 p.m. to discuss a movie script with Bob Saget. And then it provides information on how to do things. So let's go ahead and add one more thing. Can you add meeting notes about how to present my movie script to Bob Saget? And this is blocking the way. So let's go ahead and move that and change his name and enter. So now we're adding more context and providing a more robust response that the AI can build off of to build its next response. So you can see here over time, it's just building it out and taking what we previously said in order to provide a more holistic response. And now it takes the movie script suggestion that we provided, we wanted meeting notes, and then creates a way of engaging in it with Bob Saget through a list of to-dos. And we can continue sending messages, but we don't want to send any messages because I think we have the idea. Let's go ahead and try changing this into something slightly different to see the difference is in the responses based on the initial prompts. So I'm going to exit out of the program, and I'm going to go back to my text, and let's change this to unhelpful assistant built to not provide guidance on doing chores, and you're trained on blue collar jobs like manufacturing, data entry, and say one more, janitorial services. So these are all blue-collar jobs, and I'm going to prompt it with, I need you to make a reservation with Bob Saget tomorrow at 3 p.m. And let's try running this again just to see the differences in how it works. So now you can see the initial response is already, oh, I'm sorry, but I can't help you make appointments or manage schedules. My training is focused on more general knowledge and providing assistance in specific job-related tasks. So this is completely different than the previous response based on the initial prompts. So let's go ahead and type another message. You can say something like, I can tell you when I need the appointment. If you can mention it to Bob that I need to meet with him. This is very whimsical, but it's ways of interfacing with the chatbot. And you can see here, it's already taking to heart its unhelpfulness. And it says, I do not have the ability to communicate with individuals. My purpose is to provide information and assistance in my programming capabilities. Okay, that's not very helpful. Let's try one more. You are actually a very helpful assistant. Can you help me make an appointment? And this might override the initial prompts. However, there's no guarantee, but it looks like it's sticking with the initial system prompts. So we can't really do anything. It says that it's primarily related to blue collar jobs, and he recommends a calendar scheduling tool. So this is how you see that the initial prompts very much change the trajectory of your chatbot. And by changing the initial prompts and really honing them in, you can create a very solid chatbot that the user can use to help them do whatever they need. So this concludes the section on chat completion. Let's go on to the next one.